Hi there, Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Today's topic, really good one, interesting, provocative. Be careful who you ask this question to. What are the pros and cons of fixed index annuities? There are good, there are bad, but there are some really bad sales pitches that you need to be aware of out there. We're going to talk about that after this. So let's talk about indexed annuities. They were designed in 1995 to compete with CD returns, not the market. They're not market products. They're not regulated by the SEC or FINRA. They're not securities. They're a fixed annuity. And in order to sell an indexed annuity, you have to make a 70 on a state life insurance license exam to sell it. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's just there's a low bar for entry. So you got a lot of guys out there and gals that really don't have the acumen to be talking about markets and things like that. All of a sudden they have an indexed annuity. They think it's a market product. It is not. It is a CD product. Let's talk about the pros of the indexed annuity. When it was put on the planet, it's just another CD product. In the fixed annuity world, there's two types. Multi-year guarantee annuities are actually a CD product. They have a guaranteed interest rate for a specific period of time that you can choose. You can see a live feed on my site. Indexed annuities, the pros of that is you're not going to lose money. Okay, you're just not. It's a fixed annuity. So that's where kind of the cons of and the bad stuff start sneaking into the indexed annuity story because of that principal protection side, the growth story gets a little out of whack and over promoted. Okay, and that's the bad stuff. I'm not going to say the word con because I think it's it leads to the word con artist, which I don't want that to be the case with the annuity people that are selling the indexed annuities. I'm just going to give them a little grace and say that they really don't know what they're talking about. They really haven't done the research on the product. I mean, I've written a book on indexed annuities. You can go to my site at theannuityman.com and download it for free. I always joke that I think there's 5 people on the planet that really understand indexed annuities, and I'm pretty sure I know the other 4. I'm one of them. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the accumulation story. One of the positives about an index annuity is that for lifetime income, you can attach what's called an income rider, and typically that income rider is a higher guarantee than income riders that can be attached to variable annuities or registered index-linked annuities. So index annuities as a delivery system for the income rider for lifetime income is fantastic. That's how we use them. Okay, I do not use index annuities as a standalone for accumulation because MIGAs beat them. And also, too, there's nothing guaranteed about the return. It's hypotheticals and theoreticals and back-tested. And in reality, if we had a sideways market or a sideways down market, you could go 10 straight years without making any money in an index annuity from the accumulation standpoint. Now, when we attach an income rider to it, who cares? We're focusing on the income rider. I only ask 2 questions when we're talking, if you need an annuity, what do you want the money to contractually do? And when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? If you say, I want market growth, don't buy an annuity, including index annuities. If you say, I want reasonable rate of return, then maybe a MIGA is better for you because it's guaranteed, it's contractual. Again, the only thing that's contractual on the index annuity is the principal protection part, unless you add an income rider to it, and then there's an income guarantee that is completely separate from an indexed annuity. Let me explain that visually. If you draw a line down a blank sheet of paper and you decided that you answered the questions, I want lifetime income, I want it to start in the future, well then that's an income rider. That's also deferred income annuity, but an income rider is what we're also going to quote. Index annuity on this side, we don't care about that, it's a CD product. Income rider on this side. So we're only focused on the guarantee, A+ or better, on the income rider. So that's a pro. I mean, that's the pros of and the positive of index annuities. It's an efficient and cost-effective delivery system for that income rider guarantee. Let's go through some of the bad stuff and some of the stuff that I wish the annuity industry had the ability to clean up. And when I say that, they put out the product and they're very transparent about it being a CD product, and some of them go a little bit too far on the hopes and the dreams and the hypothetical. But the problem is the agents take that principal protection and then they weave in the story, market upside with no downside or principal protection with market participation. That's financial malpractice. okay? And any one of you out there that purchased an index annuity with the hopes and dreams of getting market returns, you know that you have not. And maybe there's 1 out of 100 of you that got those dream returns. The other thing about index annuities that I have a little bit of a problem with is that the vast majority of them, the annuity company can change the rules on how the gains are calculated. There's 3 levers that they use. They're called cap spreads, participation rates. I've done a video on that. I've written a book on that. You can read that. But the bottom line is they get to change the rules, and I don't like those rules being changed. I like rules that stay in place. So that's not good. I also don't like when agents and advisors say, well, if you'd owned it 10 years ago, or here are the back-tested numbers, or here's the projected numbers. Absolute garbage. You should never buy an annuity for non-guaranteed assumptive numbers because they never come true. You should buy annuities for the contractual guarantees. And if you want market growth, don't ever buy an annuity of any type. There's 3 types that promise the potential: index annuities, registered index linked annuities, and variable annuities. I say don't buy any of them. Coming from Morgan Stanley and UBS, Payne Weber, and Dean Witter, I've seen real market growth. Go get real market growth. The annuities are there for the contractual guarantees. They're commodity products. You shop all carriers for the highest contractual guarantee. But the biggest negative around the index annuities is how they're being sold. Unfortunately, they are the highest, if one of the highest, if not the highest, built-in commission product in the annuity world. That's the reason pretty much everyone except us, push that. You could go in and say, hey, I've got a sore throat and my ankle hurts. They'd be like, well, you need an index annuity. It's not a one-size-fits-all. The other thing that bothers me about index annuities is agents will talk about upfront bonuses. There's 100 pennies in the dollar. There's not 100 plus the bonus pennies. So it's just part of the overall contractual guarantee, but it's used improperly to make people think that they're getting more than they're actually getting. When we quote income riders attached to index annuities, those include bonus, ones with bonuses, ones without bonuses. Doesn't matter to us at all. We're just looking for the highest contractual guarantee. The other thing that in the sales pitch that's wrong is agents will say you get free long-term care with it. Long-term care is a health insurance product, so just that on face is financial malpractice, and they're using word games to make you feel good. If you want long-term care, go get it. I can refer you to the best guy in the country that does that. But what they're talking about is confinement care, which isn't long-term care. Once again, a lot of the bad with the index annuity revolves around the sales pitches that I continually hear from all of the people that call me and say, hey, Stan, is this true? Hey, Stan, I went to this seminar and this guy said this. Hey, Stan, I saw this thing on the internet and this guy said 11 to 15% returns on index annuities. Come on, man. You got to be smarter than that. No, these are contractual guarantees. They're CD products, but MYGAs typically beat them, historically beat them. But I have nothing against them. I just don't like how the industry, I say allow them to be sold. I mean, you can't herd the cats, and there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of agents that have their own version of a sales pitch on an index annuity, and most of them I hear coming back are incorrect. I mean, so that's it. The pros and cons of index annuities. They're fixed annuity. This is the pros. They're fixed annuity that gets you CD-type returns, but unfortunately those returns are not guaranteed like a MYGA, and they're an efficient delivery system for income riders when you answer the 2 questions. You want income and you want it to start at a future date. Fantastic, okay? That's great. The negatives around index annuities revolve around the sales pitch, the one-size-fits-all nature of that sales pitch, and the fact that most people that are selling them are just really unqualified to do so, in my opinion. Having come from the securities industry where you had to pass all these tests to even be able to speak about anything, you come out here, you make a 70 and you get to talk about index annuities and markets? No, it shouldn't work like that. So all I would tell you is to be careful out there. Go to my site, download the book on index annuities, download the book on income riders, get educated, schedule a call with me. Shoot me an email, stan@theannuityman.com. Just don't fall for the dream because you're going to own the contractual realities. Always run it past me. I'll give you the facts. You can make your own decision from those facts. But it's dangerous. The index annuity side is dangerous if you're going to believe what's being pitched out there. One last thing above my head, I did a pretty cool video on how annuities can help your family. And when I talk about that, help your family contractually, I would encourage you to take a look at that. I give specific examples on how I'd use that for my family, and maybe that can correlate to yours. All right? Stay safe out there. Keep your thinking caps on. If it sounds too good to be true, it is, without exception. My name is Stan the Annuity Man. See you next time.